All right, let's go. My baby's mama's mama, mama's mama. Right? Isn't that how the Outcast song goes, right? We like to start with a little song or just a little verse here or there, kind of get us in the mood for what we're talking about. So, really quick, because I've been telling some of the other friends, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, okay? So that way we'll get more into the YouTube algorithm. Either way, still, just passing along the knowledge and just the feedback. It's like having an open dialogue with friends, right? So just want to talk about something that we're going to kind of be kind of sensitive about it because, of course, when you talk about issues like this, we prefer at these bigger ages and greater senses of understanding, kid protection and intellect, call them mother of children, not just baby moms, because let's face it, a lot of them aren't babies anymore, right? A lot of them are grown. So this is what we want to do. First, because I guess, and you would have a lot of people giving pushback in these days and times saying that it's probably better or could be better to be, just to have a kid out of wedlock as opposed to, actually marrying the woman. And I get it. Sometimes, the woman might not be, in your estimation worth marrying. The guy might not be in your estimation worth marrying. But because of the kid's sake, it helps the kids out a lot. And I've had this debate with a lot of people over the years about it because I became a father late myself. And I'm also guilty of not getting married, but having children or child out of wedlock. In my estimation, and this is not going to be, just about me, but as far as I've seen, in a lot of situations, and I got fortunate, right? I'm lucky because I know you're going to say because of the baby, the mother of the child that I have. No, I'm lucky in a lot of senses where a lot of the friends that I have are married and they did it, I guess, quote unquote, the right way. But this isn't to offend anybody. Like I said, because me, I'll be the first to raise my hand to be a person who's had a child out of wedlock. And doesn't mean I love my kids anything any less. But I feel like at times maybe I've put them at a disadvantage because I think the one thing that, and I don't like to speak about marriage because I haven't been married, but from what I've seen from friends, there's a certain level of discipline that has to happen, even if it's for a short period of time. Because you'll hear people say, "Oh, well, they got married, but they got divorced, and 7 months later, 7 years later." Okay, that might be true, but at least they tried. All right, they tried to do the right thing and do it. But let me tell you, just from a guy's perspective, because of course I'm not a woman. Some of the things that the guys, some of the stuff that we talk about that, we go through, that becomes an issue, especially because there's always two interpretations. There's the interpretation of how you think you're doing as a person or as a man. And then, there's the other side of it. Now, it also depends sometimes too, why the breakup happened. Did the breakup happen because you were caught cheating? Did the breakup happen because she was caught cheating? Does your kid remind you of her? Does your kid remind her of you? There's a lot of different factors that go into it. But the one factor that won't change is that there's still this child to be raised or children to be raised. All right. So one thing I'd like to tackle and talk about, because, we want to try to make this a positive dialogue and interaction. We're going to try to, stay away from, much bashing or anything like that. But one issue, and I think that this is, it doesn't happen for everybody, but this has happened in several cases where, you have somebody that wants to be a father. You have somebody that has shown to be a decent father. But for whatever reasons, whatever things you got going on. Now, I'm also going to say this too. If there is any type of physical abuse going on or deep verbal abuse going on, I get some of that. But if a guy does stuff primarily like probably how I would do it, and say, hey, look, I'm not going to sit and argue on the phone with you all day about this. What we're going to do is that, hey, look, just let me know the schedule as far as how we're doing with the kids. Is it always going to be favorable to you? No. Is it always going to be favorable to me? No. But the one thing is that as a man, and this is important, is that we keep our word. So if you say that you're coming to pick the kids up on Friday and you're keeping them till Tuesday, Wednesday, however it goes, that's what you need to do. And I think that a lot of times women will try to say that, that's not the case or whatever it is. I also encourage, men, if you are not on child support, and you're sending down payments or you're doing whatever for your child. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Some of us just, we walking around with 50s and 100s all the time. Ain't me, but some of us are. So in those situations, independent, once again, on the relationship you have with your child's mother, yeah, you can say, hey, here's 100, 200, whatever, how it's going to go. All right. And speaking of money, I would also hope that more women / men, because hear what I'm about to say, more women would understand that sometimes the money is not going to be how it was yesterday. All right. And also, too, because a lot of times people don't take this into consideration. How have you been in the past with money when I've given it to you? Overall, how have you been as far as a good steward of finances? Are you a person who typically pays bills? Are you a person who has been a person that's really helpful in the household? And I'm not just talking about cleaning and washing, because guess what? I would do all of that stuff too. All right. Keeping the kids while she goes out, her keeping the kids while you go out, doing stuff like that. So we're not talking about stuff like that. So as far as financially, really take a look. If you got a guy that you really feel like is not doing anything, and I've seen these situations too, and, I think that, you as the mother need to deal with that accordingly. But there shouldn't be just this standard scale to treat somebody badly or terribly because they're not doing what you think that they should do financially. Because sometimes, and even me, you're without a job, you're trying to make ends meet, you have your own things to pay, and you try to pay for stuff, and you try to get stuff done for your kid, and the little things, people don't remember. And I get it, especially if the child lives with their mother most of the time. And I get it, and I always tell guys that's a hard deal because when you can go out and just go anywhere you want to at any time of the day, but when a kid gets sick, they're the first line of defense as far as dealing with the children, taking them if they have to go to the hospital or doing any of that kind of stuff. So I get it. Once the split happens and you two no longer, if you ever did, live in the same household. So we have to give a little grace to the women because they have the kids the majority of the time. But in some cases, you do have guys who have the kids half of the time or partial or, however the case may be. And then some other circumstances may come up. And I know I get a lot of flack about this, not from any men, but from a few chosen women that, I'm cool with. Not even, maybe one, right? So about income tax disbursement. If I'm a man and if I'm doing the right thing, and come on, we don't need to read a book. We all as people know when somebody's doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. If you got a guy that's out all the time just doing all of this crazy stuff, spending money, and he got, kids all over the place or doing whatever, and he's not being responsible for those kids that he has, then okay, you look at that as a case-by-case basis. But when you have a man that's doing the right thing or trying to do the right thing, then it's not about you rewarding him. It's about you doing the right thing. Like, let me give you a for instance. If you got a guy that's paying for tuition, okay, or paying for other stuff, and doing what he has to do, you get back $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for income taxes. We're men, so no man is saying, hey, you know what, you need to give me half that, unless that's the agreed upon deal, because sometimes that is the agreed upon deal. I look out for you all year. You don't pay a lot of the bills, hardly any of the bills. I take care of stuff. In those cases of my guys, that are taking care of other people's children, stepfathers, a lot of stuff that's being done. And I think that a lot of times, good guys, and even, guys that, may not be that great, but still do what they're supposed to do as far as their kids are concerned, get the short end of the stick. So, even with that, I'll say, and all of these topics, later on down the line, we'll expound on. But, just wanted to bring this stuff up now because these are prevalent issues that, some of us have to go through, and like I said, because, we're not here for this to be a bash session, but hopefully, somebody will, spark up a conversation and say, hey, look, you know what? This is a good dad. He is a good guy. He is doing good stuff. As a matter of fact, he may be better than the last guy I had kids with or a kid with. So let me treat him accordingly. Let me stop, and not because I have this disagreement with him, I have this butting of the heads with him, that's why I played in the song and the caption on the gram. Beans and Free and Young Chris, I can't go on this way, because nobody wants to keep going on that way. Sometimes you'll complain to your friends and family members and everything like that. And I get it, sometimes, just like anybody, they get tired of hearing it, because guess what you'll do? You get tired of saying it. Especially if you're a good father. All right. And, so some people may say, hey, well, what's a good father? A good father to me just doesn't mean that you turn over money. A good father to me doesn't mean you just pick up the kid and say, hey, mom, watch the kid all week for me, all weekend until I take her back. No, you know what a good father is? A good father is, and like even with me, like anybody, we all have to be, there's always a thing of striving to be a better father, a better mother, a better brother, a better sister. So nobody has the correct answer to that. But I'll tell you one thing that works is that, hey, like spending time with them, being around them, sharing some stuff with them, not just letting the phone dictate what their entire existence is, where, because it's happening all the time. And, once again, sometimes I'll raise my hand because, I don't sit up and act like I'm free of fault, but, limiting, because I know I do it. Another buddy of mine, Ron and his wife, Shell, they do it. They talk about it a lot as far as, hey, look, you have a couple of hours of phone time, maybe an hour, whatever it is. Because here's the big deal with me as a father, and I hope other parents share into this. Hopefully you want your kid to be better than you. Hopefully you want your kid to be able to excel in areas that you never excelled in before. All right. You don't want your kids to do less than what you did. You don't want your kids to, because what I say to people all the time, as a kid, guess who the first people are synonymous with you with are your parents. That's why you see in the NFL and NBA, it's the last name on the back of the jersey. It's not your first name. It's the last name. It's your family name. So, when I think about it, and what I'm going to segue into, but before I go through that, like I said, if you feel like you're a good father, you're not getting your just, hey, maybe as the kids get older, you'll get that. But that's what we're not doing it for. We're doing it to make sure that we're present in these kids' lives so that we have less kids running around doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, getting into things that they shouldn't be getting into. So before I transition out of that, like I said, guys, if it's a situation you're not on child support papers, anything like that, do yourself a favor. Cash App, Zelle, Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever you got to do to the kid's mom. And guess what? So that way, even if you can only send $30 a week, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I can't even send a lot, but I do what I can do. So the thing is that, and I still buy stuff, right? So the thing is that what you have to do is that at least have some record for yourself, and potentially down the line for the courts, and to show anybody, because anybody can sit up and tell you, yeah, your son doesn't do anything for anybody. Your son is just all he wants to do is go buy himself Balenciaga. right? Which in a lot of cases is probably a damn lie. So therefore, have yourself some proof, guys. Have yourself something that shows, hey, look, this is what I'm doing for my child. It may not be as much as she wants it to be, so she can't continue to afford that new Range Rover, but hey, or new Ford Explorer, you know what I mean? But at least I'm doing what I need to do. Another thing, because like I said, this is one of those things that it's an ongoing deal. And the reason why with mother of children have to be mindful of, and I've seen this happen, and it's devastating, where you decide to take these kids away. And what I mean by away is that, I'm going to say a half hour, maybe max 45 minutes is, if you want to call acceptable co-parenting, okay, we'll call it that. Now, if this is a guy, once again, that's abusive, especially physically, does nothing for the kids, put the kids in harm's way, those are rare, probably exceptions to the case. But when we talk about men, real men, that take care of their kids and are trying to do the best that they can, for you to start moving them an hour and a half away, you go to Virginia Beach, you want to move to Arizona. What do you think that does to a man? Honestly. And a lot of times, see, men wind up getting held accountable. Sometimes, unfortunately, through the court system, they get held accountable, right? Or through, just being bashed as, look at this bum baby dad, or whatever. But what about in these other cases? What about in these other situations where, these women just take flight with these kids? And I've seen it firsthand. Family members, friends. It leaves a hole in your heart. Kid can be a star running back somewhere, right? But he don't know. I used to watch his dad be that star running back in high school. Where you think you got it from, Doc? You think it just came from off of the tree? That now you are an accomplished running back in high school or college? It's the same girl, or like little girls, because I don't want to make it seem like it's worse either way, but little girls, they share your eyes, they share your nose, they share your lips, whatever they share. And the other person that they share it with, they're not allowed to see that person. And once again, we're talking about the decent guys. You're not allowed to see that person or that person's family because you have decided, hey, I'm going to move way the hell out somewhere else. And I get it. Sometimes it is for better situations. It is better neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I'm not knocking that either. But when you do that as the mother and there's not any abuse going on, you need to make damn sure you try what you need to do to assist fully, regularly, the right way, and making sure the kids come back up. And parent mediation. How do you sit with a kid that as they get older, I'm not talking to my dad. I'm not talking to my grandmother. I'm not talking to my once upon a time favorite aunt. I'm not doing this. And this goes on for years. And this goes on for years. So, what I want to say, and in closing, and, like I said, because this is a topic that we'll, cover more expansively. But, just wanted to get it out there and put it out there. And it's like, what do you think? Because I know a lot of guys, go through this kind of stuff. And, the only people they got to talk to about it is their friends. So, because, I think that, a whole bunch of stuff in the court system should change. Hey, look, you want to take the kid and move all the way away to North Carolina, South Carolina, somewhere, a lot of that's going to be on you, sis. Like I said, unless this guy has a history of abuse or, mentally, physically, or abusing the child. Okay, because I know that people will try to bring up these rarities. We're not talking about exceptions to the rule. We're talking about good, decent men who, just want to be just want to be a dad. Now I get it. Sometimes you might link up, hook up, because I know somebody's gonna say, well, what if I lived in New York, you know what I'm saying, and I was having this fling with somebody down in Atlanta, you know what I mean, and we wound up pregnant. Well, you know what? Once again, a rare case. A rare case. A rare case. All right. So, let me know what you think. Join the discussion, put it in the comments, share with a friend. Remember, hey man, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll have more stuff to talk about soon. All right. Trying to make a new world. Holla at you.